Will the Dark Knight be able to save his son Damian from the clutches of the Devil Nezha? Even if it could mean making the ultimate sacrifice? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman vs. Robin issue number 4, a prelude to Lazarus Planet, and find out together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we see the Devil Nezha bathing in the Lazarus waters, which is kind of interesting considering that ever since the whole Great Darkness Shadow War debacle, anyone who's gone into the pits like Slade did has come back horribly changed. Well, more horribly changed than you usually do, but the Devil Nezha is different. He says his very veins beat with the stuff. Keep that bit in mind too, because it actually is going to end up being important later. Now, as we check back on in with Batman, he's slowly but surely limping his way inside Lazarus Island's inner sanctum. He got banged up pretty bad fighting his mind-controlled sidekicks at the end of the previous issue, and it's made abundantly clear that that's exactly what the villains wanted to do, wear Batman down enough so Damian could actually swoop on in for the kill, or at the very least keep Batman busy long enough for Mother Soul and Devil Nezha to complete their magical ritual that would see them siphon all of planet Earth's magic into the Helmet of Fate. What follows is actually a really cool, really slick, really well put together hand-to-hand fight between father and son. Most of the dialogue actually falls away and we're treated to the names of all the different combat skills that Batman and Robin are using against each other, some of them actually quite familiar, like Wildcat's Haymaker, or Lady Shiva's Duck and Weave. In Batman's internal monologue, he says like any good father, he went out of his way to make sure that he taught his son everything that he knew. But sadly, it seems that Damian didn't repay that favor to his father, and that there's still many techniques from his time as an assassin that Damian kept in his back pocket for just such an occasion like this. Whether it was that or Batman's previous injuries, Damian actually gets the upper hand on his father. Batman had hoped that by this point in the battle he would either have gotten through to his son, or it would have been revealed that Damian wasn't actually as mind-controlled as he was letting on. But of course, this is Batman we're dealing with, and you know that the Dark Knight never walks into an obvious trap unless he has a backup plan. In this case, we discover that this is actually his second time through the cave. The first time he let Talia go, meaning that for once, mother and father actually stand united, not only just to save Damian, but also to defeat Devil Nezha and Mother Soul. The Demon's Head's daughter actually gets off a very impressive missile drop kick, making it so that Devil Nezha drops the Helmet of Fate before he can put it on. Batman capitalizes on this fumble, and with no other options left, Bruce opts to put the helmet on his own head, which is actually pretty interesting for Batman's character. He's a master of all things, but magic has never come easy to him. In fact, as the Dark Knight says in his own internal monologue, he's always actively been a little distrustful of magic, because to become a good magician, you need to actively submit yourself to forces and powers outside your own perception, which, Batman doesn't submit himself to anything. What follows is a fight on two fronts. Damian and Talia actually chase after Mother Soul to try and deal with her. Talia actually gets in a pretty good line at the expense of her grandmother, saying that this is twice now that this lady has tried to resurrect the demon of the Lazarus Pit, and twice now because of Damian that she's failed. Perhaps at the end of the day it was always Mother Soul herself who was the true demon, and because of that she should be thrown back in the pit. Damian, though, is finally back to his senses now and refuses to let his great-grandmother die. Yes, she's a monster, yes, she's a criminal, yes, she's done wrong, but like Batman, we just can't go around executing people. Batman's battle with the Devil Nezha doesn't go nearly as smoothly. He's quite literally learning magic on the fly from all of the different disembodied voices inside the helmet who are trying to spur him along. It's here too Nezha takes the opportunity to monologue and give a little bit more insight into what exactly it is he has planned. He had hoped to steal the world's magic so that he could actively guide the world into a new prosperous era, one where mankind has true purpose, one direction under him. No more squabbling amongst nations, only one vision wherein magic is used to spread the Lazarus resin to other worlds. After taking a trip through a weird kaleidoscope dimension, the devil actually does manage to get one up on Batman. He tries to crush his head, but in the end all he manages to do is break the helmet. Now again, I'm no Dr. Fate expert, but I don't think it should be easy to break the helmet. I'll chop it up to saying that the helmet was already at a breaking point because of all the magic that got siphoned into it. The shards of the helmet also fall into the Lazarus Pit too, meaning that the entire island has just become super unstable. Damian shows up with a flaming spear to try and defend his hurt father. Nezha opts to fire a killing blow at Damian, but Batman manages to work up just enough strength to take the hit. And wow, isn't this interesting? We saw Batman do basically the same thing in the main Batman book, but for Tim, now he's doing it here for Damian. Wow, what a couple weeks Batman has had, am I right? With Batman down and, like, legitimately clinically dead, it seems like all hope is lost. It's at this point, though, salvation comes in a very unexpected third party. I'm, of course, talking about King Firebull, Devil Nezha's son and most hated rival. King Firebull vows to kill Devil Nezha, much like how Devil Nezha killed his own father. Again, if you haven't clued in yet, the major theme of Batman vs. Robin is children fighting with their parents. It's also here that Black Alice and the pig guy from the Monkey King book end up coming back into the story. Black Alice thinks that she can use her powers to siphon magic to steal just enough resurrection mojo from an injured Devil Nezha's very own blood. Oh yeah, I'm sure that won't be something that'll come back and bite them all later. It works, and Batman manages to live again just to get him and the rest of his assorted allies off Lazarus Island before the whole thing ends up going nuclear, the massive volcano on the island exploding and spreading gallons and gallons of Lazarus resin all over the known world. Want to know what happens next after this? Be sure to check in with Lazarus Planet, the event, as that starts very soon. And so that was Batman vs. Robin issue number 4, everybody, and I gotta say, this ended up being a really cool, really climactic issue. In fact, I thought this was the finale, but little did I know the book is actually going to keep going after this when Lazarus Planet starts. I appreciate what Waid does here with the final resolution when it comes to Damian and Bruce at last repairing their relationship after circling each other for like several storylines now. It really was actually just that easy for Batman to say, I forgive you, son, I love you, because I finally had a word with Alfred in the last issue, and because of that was able to forgive myself. I appreciate how Talia got involved here, and Damian actually sparing Mother's soul is kind of a nice capstone to everything that happened in the Joshua Williamson Robin book that ended a little bit prematurely for my taste. Hell, it took forever, but I think I'm actually starting to warm up to Devil Nezha as a villain too, if only because of his relationship with his son. It's kind of a dark mirror to what Batman's relationship with his sidekick children could be. And you know what? Even though I think it's coming out way too friggin' soon in relation to the finale of Dark Crisis, I actually am excited for Lazarus Planet, and I want to see what Mark Waid is going to do, setting the tone for the DC Universe in 2023. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. This actually ended up being one hell of a ride to go on, and I'm glad I did. Especially as this book came out at a time when I couldn't be more sick of Batman stories, and especially Batman fighting Robin stories, but hey, hand it to Mark Waid, he did the thing.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.